So everybody thinks that lower mortgage rates make things more affordable. Now, in most markets, maybe. But in San Francisco, lower rates could actually cost you six figures. That's right, lower mortgage rates could actually cost you more, to the tune of six figures, if you wait. So I'm gonna show you in today's video how a half-point drop in rates could save you about $500 a month or so in monthly payment, but on the other side could cost you all that money in the long run, not to mention having higher property taxes, which is permanent. And I'm gonna also show you the exact strategy that the smart Bay Area buyers are using right now to make sure that they don't get crushed by this upcoming frenzy. But before we get into it, my name is Arjun Dhingra. I am a 25-year veteran of this mortgage industry, helping buyers make smarter decisions when it comes to taking out mortgage debt right here in San Francisco. We've helped thousands of families over the years either invest in property or buy property for themselves to live in. And if we can be of any help to you, please reach out to me on Instagram at Arjun Mortgage and let us figure out the best strategy to help you get your piece of this great market. And if you guys could also do me a huge favor, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel so that we can continue to reach you and other people with useful content like this. Okay, so let's get into it. There is an illusion when it comes to lower mortgage rates. Here's what I mean. And we're gonna use real numbers here. We'll take a $1.6 million home, for example. Now, at an interest rate of roughly 6.5%, the monthly P&I, or principal and interest, portion for that mortgage, after a reasonable down payment, of course, would be $10,113. Now, if rates were to drop to 6% and you bought that same house, the payment would be about $520 less. Seems pretty good, right? Over the year, that's over $6,000 in monthly savings. So naturally, everyone, when they see numbers like that, would say, it's probably a good idea to wait because I don't want to miss out on that kind of savings. Half the agents in the open houses you visit will say the same thing. The media is saying it. Your uncle who watches CNBC will also say it. It sounds very logical, but here's the problem. You're not the only one who is waiting. You see, at the end of the day, rates move real demand much more so than supply. Rates have more of an impact on how demand actually works, whether it intensifies or slows down, more so than the existing inventory levels or supply in the market. This is the entire game. You see, when rates drop, more buyers enter the marketplace, but listings don't necessarily change. So you've got more buyers, the same amount of inventory, and that means more expensive bidding wars. Because for every 1% drop in rates, you add about 4.5 to 5 million buyers nationally. They enter because now the price ranges that they did want originally are more affordable. They also just gain confidence when they see a drop in rates and think that it's a good time to enter the market. But inventory doesn't just magically appear to meet all of that new demand. And here in San Francisco, it's even tighter. 93 single-family homes are for sale roughly, which is about less than a half month's worth of supply. A balanced market, just to compare, is 6 months worth of supply. So we're not low inventory here, we're like at scarcity level low. So when rates drop in a market like this, you don't get relief, you get absolute chaos. And the feeding frenzy becomes even more intense. This is why so many people have been priced out of this market, why so many people have given up on wanting to buy a home in this market. So let's take a look at what actually happens. Right now, single family homes are selling in less than 15 days in most cases. And they're selling at about 113% of the list price. Now, that's not negotiating, guys. Those are flat out bidding wars. Now, let's talk about buying power. If you had about an $8,000 budgeted housing expense that you were working with, this means that you would qualify for about a $1.26 million loan amount with an interest rate of 6.5%. But if rates were to drop half a point to 6%, that loan amount would be higher to the tune of $1.34 million. So you just gained $80,000 in buying power by a half point drop in rates. It sounds great, like I said, but here's the problem. Everybody else in the market just also gained $80,000 in buying power. So what happens then? Prices adjust higher. Simple supply and demand, guys. With more demand and the same amount of supply that was there, it's naturally going to put some upward pressure on home prices. Now let's say that $1.6 million house increased by 5%. So it's now $1.68 million. So let's compare. You could buy it today at $1.6 million at 6.5% versus waiting and buying it at $1.68 million at 6%. What's the payment difference? Roughly $33 a month. $33. That's 2 Phil's coffee lattes, and Phil's coffee is the best here in San Francisco, but you paid $80,000 more. This is where the numbers are a lot more revealing than just stopping at the interest rate question. This is where the numbers, guys, are far more powerful in the big picture, as opposed to just fixating on the interest rate and deciding whether to wait or buy on that variable alone. Now we're going to look at one of the biggest traps in all of this, which is the property tax situation. or property tax trap. Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is the area that most buyers completely ignore, but you're not going to because we're gonna cover it here for you. You see, California has Proposition 13, so your property tax is based on the purchase price. $1.6 million means $18,880 a year in property taxes, and $1.68 million, like our last example, means $19,824 a year in taxes. So that's $944 more every year for as long as you own the house. Over 30 years, that's nearly $30,000 extra. That's permanent. You can refinance a rate, guys, but you can never refinance or readjust your property tax basis because of that purchase price. Whatever the price is that you enter the home at is going to determine everything, including those property taxes. And once they're set, they are set. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying that lower rates are never a good thing. Here's where it does matter, and here's where they are helpful. In higher inventory markets, which is basically anything outside of San Francisco, certain parts of the market where there's a lot more inventory than there is buyers, lower rates absolutely help because you don't have that upward pressure on prices from all of that increased demand. So just because there's more demand, it's generally going to be just fine because there was plenty of inventory to begin with. If there's about a 6-month plus supply of housing in any given market, the demand just absorbs all of that existing inventory at a normal rate. Prices stay stable, buyers win, but unfortunately that's not San Francisco right now. We are at about half a month's supply worth of homes, which means lower rates is pouring gas on a fire. So forget all the CNBC headlines, guys. Here's what smart buyers actually track. They track inventory, they track days on market, and they track the over ask percentage, meaning how many times are prices going above the list price when it comes to actually buying that home. These areas will tell you the leverage. Higher rates plus lower competition is always going to be more favorable for you as a buyer than lower rates and crazy competition, because that crazy competition actually means bidding wars, which means a more expensive property. And this is all because, again, guys, you can negotiate the interest rate on this debt many times while you live in that home, depending on how many years you're going to be there. But you only get one shot and one shot only to negotiate that purchase price. And there's so much consequence attached to that purchase price. Now, I've seen a lot of real life examples and I want to share them with you because I've seen this play out from both sides. One buyer walked away from a $1.5 million deal waiting for the perfect moment. He ended up paying roughly 30% more later, lost his deposit, ended up in a worse location. Another client ran the numbers. They bought at today's price, but negotiated concession, used seller credits to buy down their interest rates, and they kept their refinance options open. The difference between these two? Well, the one who ended up buying at today's price is building equity now, taking advantage of tax benefits now, is no longer paying their landlord's mortgage now, and you guys get the point. All of this is real strategy and not gambling. So here's the move in this market and how you're gonna make this work for you. Lock in a purchase price when inventory is tight but still manageable. Negotiate seller concessions any chance you get, and any real estate agent that tells you we can't negotiate with these sellers or we're going to lose the house is not an agent that you need to be working with. Because if they're afraid to ask for this on your behalf, they're afraid of losing the deal, which means they're not really working on your behalf. They're working for a commission. Buy down the interest rate if needed or if it makes sense, and you refinance later if rates improve, which they likely will, because as inflation continues to cool down here in the United States, we will see lower mortgage rates in the future. They go up, they go down. They're constantly in a flow state. Like I've said throughout this video, you only get one shot to negotiate that purchase price. So control what you can control. Don't gamble on timing the macro headlines or what you're hearing in the news or what other people are in your ear constantly about. Because in a half-month supply state like San Francisco's in, lower rates don't create more affordability. They create feeding frenzies. And if you want to see any time what it would actually cost you to wait based on these numbers and scenarios, just reach out to me and my team again via Instagram at Arjun Mortgage, and we'll run a very quick analysis for you. We do this for clients all the time, and it really helps them see the advantages or disadvantages to making a decision. I hope you guys found this video useful. Good luck out there. If my team can be of any help to you, please reach out to us, and we'll see you guys on the next video.